Hi, warm welcome to you all. Today we will be discussing about the analysis of shear in pre-stressed concrete members, right. So, why shear is very important? You might have already studied about analysis of actually loaded or flexural members, but analysis of shear is also very important, as the failure due to shear is very abrupt or where it is very sudden. When you have studied analysis of flexure or due to axial member, we had three principles. Number one is based on the equilibrium of internal and external forces. The other one was compatibility of strains, and the third one is constitutive relationship of materials, in the sense about the material properties. All these three principles were used in analysis of flexure. But in analysis of shear, we are going to ignore, or we are not considering the two parameters, that is compatibility of strains and constitutive relationship of materials. We are going to consider only equilibrium of internal and external forces. In shear, the material strength we are considering all or our ultimate strength. Then how shear is generated? Shear is generated in a member due to two cases. One is flexural shear, or due to when it is a flexural bending, and then there is a torsional shear when there is twisting moment in the beam. Right now, we will be considering about the flexural shear. To understand flexural shear, let me consider a simply supported beam of rectangular in cross section carrying an imposed load. Simply supported beam, rectangular in cross section, say breadth B and overall depth D, carrying an imposed load. Let us draw the shear force and bending moment diagram for this case. We can draw the variation of shear force and variation of bending moment. This is the neutral axis. So, we can say that, or do we know that shear force and bending moment both will vary along the length. Let us consider normal and shear stresses. Let us consider distribution of normal stresses, can represent by sigma. Let me consider distribution of shear stresses by tau. We have already said variation of shear force and bending moment is along the length, but normal stress and shear stress distribution is along the length as well as its depth. This is the neutral axis. These normal and shear stresses are in two dimensional in nature. Due to two dimensional stresses, principal stresses are generated. So, we are concerned about how principal tensile stresses are generated, and when the strength of the member or the concrete is lesser than the generated principal stresses, it will crack. The load in the RCC or a PIC beam will not be carried by steel until there is crack from concrete. After concrete cracks, the redistribution of the stresses occurs between concrete and steel. So, this is the variation of normal stress and shear stress. Variation of normal stress is along the length as well as the depth. So, we will treat this as compression, tension, and this is the variation of shear, which will be your maximum shear stress at the center. If you are observing the neutral axis of the beam, at the exactly at the neutral axis, our stress of normal stress is 0 and we are having maximum shear stresses. For better understanding, these normal and shear stresses will create two dimensional these stresses are two dimensional in nature, it will create principal tensile stresses. So, we need to study on principal tensile stresses. To understand principal tensile stresses, Mohr circle is a method what you have already studied, which is very beneficial in understanding. Okay. So, to analyze a point in a beam, let me consider 2 points, one on the neutral axis, I will say it as 1, and the second point near to the bottom of the beam, I will call it as point 2. At these 2 points, how the variation of stresses or how the variation of principal stresses will occur, or what how much quantity of principal stresses will occur, we have to calculate. Section 1, section 2. Mohr circle or two dimensional stress system you have already studied, we will just recall. Sigma x greater than sigma y, this is our assumption. This is shear. I am considering a general case of two dimensional stress system. The sign assumption or sign convention will treat compression as negative, tension as positive, clockwise shear as positive and counterclockwise shear as negative. So, if we want to draw Mohr circle, we are going to draw two axes, one on normal stresses, one on shear stresses. So, the first value will take sigma x, which is greater than sigma y, and so it is creating a tensile force. So, it is positive and this shear is creating a clockwise moment. So, I will mark the point as positive, both positive, first quadrant sigma x comma tau, and when you consider this element sigma y, which is also tensile, but the shear is negative. So, this is my sigma y comma minus tau. So, join these two lines and then you can draw the Mohr circle. This is a general aspect what you have studied. This is the inclination of the failure plane to alpha, right. So, you know the basic concepts. Let us study about these 2 points 1 and 2 due to two dimensional stresses of normal and shear stress, how it will behave. We have studied how to draw Mohr circle. Once again we will recall the section, the neutral axis, section first point element 1, this is element 2, we know the stress distribution, normal stress and shear stress distribution. If you are considering point 1, the two dimensional stress system, we do not have any normal stresses are 0, but we have shear to be maximum. So, at section 1 we can say it is in a case of pure shear, we have only shear stress, no normal stresses. Let us draw Mohr circle for this case. Normal stresses, shear stresses. As you can see, there are no normal stresses. We can take directly the shear stresses. So, one value, as I said earlier, clockwise shear is positive and anti-clockwise shear is negative. So, first we can draw one as tau max and 0, tau comma 0, and then as minus tau comma 0. We can draw the circle. This is my Mohr circle, and you will get the maximum principal tensile stresses sigma 1 and the minimum principal stresses sigma 2. If you observe carefully, due to pure shear, both magnitudes are of same. Now, if you are considering element 2, which are near to the bottom of the member, you can see we are having maximum tension. We are going, as the depth increases, tension also goes on increases, but whereas my shear starts reducing. If you are going considering this section, you have maximum tension or it is approaching towards maximum tension and your shear is reducing. So, for element 2 we will draw Mohr circle, we have tension maximum, but as we are considering only this will be your tension, maximum tension, right, and then you will have shear which is reducing. Right. So, we can draw Mohr circle for this case also, sigma tau. So, we have sigma t and tau which is of greater magnitude. We remember we do not have any horizontal or sigma y element here. So, we will have at this point sigma t comma tau and then 0 comma minus tau, join these elements and then draw Mohr circle. So, if you compare to case 1 and case 2, your sigma value, sigma 1 or your principal tensile stresses are of higher magnitude compared to pure shear case, right. So, that is why we are saying as your section is going towards the bottom, your principal tensile stresses goes on increasing. When the principal tensile stresses is greater than the strength of the concrete members crack, right. After cracking, then only my load will be transferred from concrete or the redistribution of the stresses from concrete to steel will occur. So, when the principal tensile stresses are of higher magnitude compared to the strength of the concrete, the member cracks, right. So, the redistribution of the stresses will occur after the cracking of concrete, then steel and concrete then steel will start taking the load. So, how the cracking pattern will occur in a beam due to shear or combined shear and flexure we will be studying. This is our beam simply supported. We already draw the shear force distribution diagram, bending moment distribution diagram. As you can observe, near to the section you are having shear force maximum and at the center we are having bending moment maximum. Okay. We have already studied based on our distribution of normal and shear stress by drawing a Mohr circle, that in a case of pure shear at the neutral axis we will be having tensile stresses. These tensile stresses will create inclined crack. So, what are the different types of cracks? One is the flexural cracks where your bending moment is crack maximum, we will get flexural cracks which are vertical in nature. Once you come near the support where shear force is maximum, we will have pure shear and we will have web cracks which is of exactly inclined at 45 degrees and these are wider in nature. And between the support and the center of the span, we are considering this section, we have both shear flexure and shear maximum. So, the orientation of the cracks will be, it will originate to vertical direction and then it will be inclined. So, this type of cracks are called number 1 this is flexural cracks. These type of cracks are called as flexural shear cracks. And this is also shear crack, but we can call it as web shear cracks. Now, let us study how the pre-stressing will affect the shear resistance of the concrete. We have drawn already the Mohr circle. So, you are more comfortable in drawing Mohr circle. This is a simply supported beam carrying external load, neutral axis. In case of pre-stressing, the pre-stressing can be done in either pre-tensioning or post-tensioning. The cable orientation may be linear or it can be curved. Let us consider a case of linear pre-stressing which is exactly done on neutral axis. So, this is the position where I am doing the pre-stressing. So, let me consider this as pre-stressing force P e. So, if I want to draw Mohr circle for this element, say let me consider an element at exactly at the neutral axis, we can draw the Mohr circle for this element 3. Let me draw Mohr circle elemental 3 which carries an compressive stresses, and we know compressive stresses are negative, and then in the vertical, in the top face there are no stresses, we have only shear. This is my pre-stressing compressive stresses. Let me draw the Mohr circle. This is my normal stresses, this is my shear stress. See, this normal stresses right hand side indicates positive, left side it is negative, shear top side positive, bottom side negative. So, we know this pre-stressing force is compressive nature, negative, but shear is positive. So, this is our first point. So, this is minus P e comma tau, and on this other face we do not have any vertical stresses, we have only shear stress. So, it is, but shear stress is negative. So, it is 0 comma minus tau. So, you can join these 2 points and then draw the Mohr circle. So, you can observe the principal stresses, principal tensile stresses sigma 1 is of reduced in nature. So, let me consider case 1. If you recall case 1 at the neutral axis due to pure shear from our Mohr circle, this was our major principal tensile stresses. Case 2 at the bottom of the beam we have higher magnitude of principal tensile stresses. Now, you consider from above due to pre-stressing the principal stresses value has been reduced. See, if you compare these 3 parameters, the sigma 1 value is lesser. So, comparing all these 3 parameters, we can say that due to pre-stressing the principal tensile stresses are reduced. So, I can say due to pre-stressing members have enough shear resistance, only flexure and shear of higher magnitude will cause cracking in my member. Thank you.